Good day, my people, and welcome to Sit, Sip, and Chat. Now, let's continue the journey. Hello, my people, and welcome to Sit, Sip, and Chat, where I sit and chat with different persons within the community, and we have a sip or two in between. Now, you don't forget to have a sip of your own while I chat. I'm your host, Glenda York of GCY Initiative, and I'll be enjoying my sips while I chat with you today. One of the things that we celebrate in March is Women's International Month. This year's theme for Women's International Month is Invest in Women and Accelerate Progress. I am a woman and I invest in myself each and every time that I put out one of these programs, and I invest in each woman that I chat with because it's only together can we move forward. But with Women's International Month in mind, I decided to go down memory lane with the women that I've sat with thus far on Sit, Sip, and Chat. But before I get into that, I'm going to tell you guys about where we are today. Today we are sitting in Great Bay Media Studios. Now, Great Bay Media Studios provides several services to help businesses and all types of organizations get their message out there to the public effectively and efficiently. They're all about making sure your message is loud, clear, and hits the spot. For more information about Great Bay Media Studios, email address is right down here on the bottom. Make sure you contact them to tell them thank you for supporting my program. And now we're going to talk about the lovely ladies that we've had on Sit, Sip, and Chat thus far. First, we have Miss Dominique Hodge of Tropsical Pops. I spoke with Dominique after she had returned to the island after investing in herself by taking a leap of faith and yielding the benefits of her efforts with new insight and professional friendships. Now, things may not have gone how Dominique had expected when she took this leap of faith, but she definitely made the best of every twist and turn that happened.
The company they paired me with, they were busy opening other locations, and the owner was not as available as he thought he would be. So I did not have the typical or ideal experience. I actually had to kind of find my own way and do my own thing. So I don't want to call the name because I don't want to throw them under the bus, because there's no bad feelings towards them. We met, he was very honest with me. We were able to have honest conversations. And so I realized, hey, this is not going to be what they thought it was going to be or what I wanted it to be. And I'm also grateful for the opening, the pre-departure orientation. We met with alumni from Aruba and Curacao. And one of the ladies, her name is Indira, and I appreciate her so much because she told us, she was like, you need to adjust your expectations. Yeah. You know, these are human beings as well, and don't go in with too high of an expectation. Mm-hmm. And in that moment when I met with the owner and I realized, oh, this is not going to go the way it's going to go, I heard her voice saying, manage your expectations.
You have 4 weeks in Miami to learn from someone that wasn't readily available. So did you still work with the company, or did you kind of just find like another?
So I had some amazing fellows in my cohort. Mm-hmm. It was, I believe, 10 or 11 of us. And these guys were from Latin America, different countries, and they were out networking every day. Like before we got to Miami, they were already sending links to events like, hey, there's this networking event, there's that networking event. And honestly, again, it became a bit much. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of events. But it pushed me beyond my comfort zone. So I didn't go to all because there's no way. I know my limits, and I was like, I can't do all. But I did pick and choose. And I've realized that going to the networking events, I was able to connect with people that I never would have met, people who gave opportunities. I don't care about the experience with the other company because this experience alone.
Got something out of it.
Yes.
More than one front, because you met the gentleman from Wyndham, and then you met the gentleman that was supposed to be your original mentor.
Yes.
So either way, it was still a win.
Yes. And again, none of those things would have happened. None of those opportunities would have presented themselves if I was having the fellowship I was supposed to have.
Yes.
Because I would have been so busy working that it wouldn't. And just to say this, like, I was still supposed to complete a project with that original company, and I did. So I have, like, he wanted me to do a customer service, just to kind of review his customer service, give him tips, and then put together like a package. I did it. I have it he never got it, but I have it. So if anyone's looking for customer service, that is also something I can now do because yeah, I did it. But again, for me, I've learned from that experience to always look for the silver lining. You know, things may not go as planned, but there's always something to be positive about. And if you sit there and you sulk, you will miss the opportunities that are coming up.
Mackie Brooks invested in herself and her island when she decided to pivot from her master plan to listen to that little voice in her head when it told her that home was the place to be. And since that decision has been made, Mackie has found a renewed vigor in what she does, although it may not have been the original plan.
I wanted to make communities and life better for people. That's it.
That was the plan.
I feel like my life is about service. It's about being helpful. It's about wanting and seeing better for other people. And I wasn't certain that about how it would look. Like I didn't see myself working at an NGO, but if the bottom line is service and about other human beings, and that's where I think I'm supposed to be.
So your plan was always to move back home.
No.
That was a shift.
No.
No. So what was the
Not that I don't love the country
so,
so
what,
much.
so then what community were you going to serve?
It really didn't matter. Can I tell you something?
Sure.
When I was in the middle of my first year of my master's program, I, in my mind, thought that I was going to get a job in like Afghanistan or Iraq.
Oh, you were global.
Yes, I honestly did not see myself moving back to St. Martin. But near the end of my second year, when I was thinking about PhD programs, a voice in my head just said, go back home.
Okay.
And it was a very surprising voice because part of the trajectory was international job, PhD program, but that voice won, and then here
you are. And how do you feel about that choice? But did the voice lead you astray, or did it lead you down the right path?
I think the voice led me down the right path. I was very uncertain in the beginning, but if I have to look at what my life looks like now, you know, the voice may have been right.
May have a program and development manager, and then you became managing director.
Yes, ma'am.
How was that? And how? Because first they had to tell you. Because I'm guessing you didn't know that you were nominated for that position.
Definitely.
It's a nomination, or do they just assign you?
So essentially, it's an internal thing, and also the managing director is appointed and selected by the supervisory board. So I didn't even know that my name was floating formally. The previous managing director called me one evening. And he told me, so how do you feel about my job? And I was like, I don't know, it's a job. Because I really didn't know. You know, when you're working, you have aspirations for the next thing. So you're thinking about, okay, I'm growing here. I've learned a lot in this particular seat in this space. What am I going to do next? So of course I was thinking about what's going to happen next, but I didn't know that on that day that phone call would have
being
happened.
discussed on your behalf.
You know, so I had no idea. So the call definitely came as a surprise. One that I'm incredibly grateful for. To know that the board saw something in me that, you know, made them feel certain and confident that I would have made a good MD. So I think
It's the
that
planner child. They saw the inner planner child and was like, she's the one.
be successful in an area that you are really focused on means that sometimes you need to close other doors. And I think that's something that I've definitely learned, particularly in the past year, that for you to grow and grow in a professional way that people can respect, sometimes you have to be able to say no to this opportunity so that you can focus on the one that's in front of you, that you feel strongly will lead you to your next step.
I think that's a pretty big, that's like a gem that you just dropped there, because I think as you pursue goals or goals that you've had in your mind, when you see an opportunity present itself, it's like, oh, I can handle this. Oh, how do I say no to this? This has been the dream for so long. And it's kind of hard to come to the mindset that the dream might have shifted a little bit. So how do I stay on this path that I now want, but then how do I say no to this other thing that I've wanted also?
And I think that is really, really difficult. That is difficult in personal and professional.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? But sorry, no sir. They got this game tonight and I can't miss it. Me and my boy, we gotta watch the game, you know. So I bringing this in. You check? Alright, let me watch your leg go. Watch your leg.
Sir, sorry. Why so difficult? Look, I'm watching TV here on my phone with the Tel TV Plus app. You really gotta upgrade.
Okay, so Miss, tell me about the Tel TV Plus. I hear about this.
Okay, so once you apply for Tel TV Plus,
Okay.
you can enjoy it anytime on the go.
Anytime.
Anytime.
On the go?
On the go, you simply download the app, log into your account at any time, sit back and enjoy. You will never have to miss your match.
Yo, bus driver, take me back to tell him now, please.
Next, we have Miss Aquila Merlins of 1727 Ave. One half of the management team of 1727 Ave, Aquila has made the best of an unplanned circumstances. From dreams of becoming a dentist to realizing and developing a new dream. Aquila invested in herself by recognizing an opportunity and delving in. And since moving back home, she has used every opportunity to also empower those around her that are also seeking different paths.
Why did I choose to study what I initially studied? So my background is in science and the medical industry. I've always wanted to be a doctor of some sort. And so once I got started at Bonner, I realized that dentistry was really the place that I wanted to go. Things did not work out in the best way or the way that I initially wanted it to, mostly because of funding. As I said, Martin, student abroad, and so when I came back, I kind of saw the opportunity to delve into entrepreneurship, initially with Amibody, and then from there I got into digital marketing. And it's a sensitive topic amongst our group, so. And then I found a love for it. I also realized I was really good at it and really enjoyed the results that I was able to bring to them. And that was just me and myself. But I knew obviously of Cameron's work as a photographer at the time. And then he kind of got into filmmaking as well. And I was like, hey, look, if I'm going to do this agency model, this is the person that I want to work with in terms of content production.
Partnership, again, you want to better, how do you say that? You want to better the field. Whenever anything that you do, you want to make it better than when you got there. So then how do you guys see this partnership bettering, let's say, the young entrepreneurs on the island, the persons that do brand management, the persons that do photography and storytelling? How do you think it will shape the island in a positive, or hopefully take it in a better direction than it is right now?
I know for me, on my part, I think in anything that I like to do, I like to be able to help in some way, shape or form. And so, in terms of providing job opportunities to fellow entrepreneurs,
Which is also good. Always
yeah, I think a lot of people don't feel like we have those spaces, or they feel like it's only at X amount of places on the island and the region. And so being able to kind of provide that outlet for people that want to collab, whether that's full-time, part-time, freelancer, I think is a good, for me, is one of the things that I see that we can kind of make our mark on the world. And then also just, again, quality content, quality marketing. A lot of times I think people think that because we're from St. Martin, we have to settle for a certain type of content or service, whatever it is. And it's our mission to, again, be able to prove that, hey, people from St. Martin can compete on the same level as people from the region or even internationally as well. So for me, those are the two ways I think that we're hopefully making it.
Next, we have Miss Micheline James. A lover of the aviation world, Micheline found herself in a position where she could return the love and care given to her by her mother. After the passing of her mother, Micheline invested in herself by continuing the work she found that gave her joy and a purpose. And she continues to give back to the community of St. Martin.
I don't think it was a hard thing to do because after my mom got sick, I saw the need for it.
Yeah.
Because yes, there are people willing to work, but not people working for money, not people working for a passion. And it was hard, especially with the illness that she had. We needed someone that would understand that, hey, this is what it is, and it takes a lot out of you also as a caretaker. So after she passed, I had several conversations with a good friend of mine, and yeah, I took the necessary courses, and then I went along to open the business. So I was doing it and working at the airport at the same time till it became
Too much?
too much.
Yeah.
So I had to give up aviation. So haven't regretted it since then.
So then we talked about that your mom was sick and then you needed to take care of her mom. So for anyone that doesn't know what ALS is, can you explain what ALS is to you?
Well, it's a disease that attacks the nervous system. So once your nervous system doesn't work, your muscles shut down. A majority of your organs are muscles, so eventually it leads to death. There's no cure for it so far. So it's like you get medication to slow the process, but there's no cure.
So it's just a slow moving.
It's a slow moving something, yeah.
Okay. And how was, because then you went from taking care of your mom. So then how was it then deciding, okay, my mom is gone. I no longer have to do this. Then you made the decision of, no, I want to continue doing
I had
this.
several conversations where it was like, yeah, we had a hard time to find people. Yes, we went through several persons because people weren't, yes, you want the money. People are always willing to look for the job, but it's how you handle the job. So after having those conversations, like, we should go into that business because there's no one currently at that point. There was no one. That was after Hurricane Irma.
Okay.
So there was no one doing that. So it was like, okay, that's an open opportunity for me. So I did what I had to do.
And you took the
To
opportunity.
the whole island.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone can't afford it. You have to be realistic in terms of pension. Maybe some people ain't save for it, or their family cannot afford to do it for them. So it's like, what else can we do to assist? So that's been my main thing, trying to assist. I always try to assist. If you have a budget, let me know.
Yeah.
And then I work with your budget because I know it's needed, but I have to also look at my end
Exactly.
also
You are still a
as the
business. Yes.
So it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
So because I was gonna ask that, you kind of jump. You still have to look at what the persons have, what they can afford, and then not adjust your services, but more see what you can
What I
provide.
can do for what they have.
Yeah.
What I can provide for what they
Not
have.
decline the services, but
Yeah.
rather adjust to what
to
you
assist
need.
because the assistance is needed. Yes, we know that pension can't cover it because there's a lot of fees in terms of our business. It's just not only me. If it was just only me, I think I would be able to take on, but I alone can't do it. So me having staff, I have to think about they have to get paid. The business have taxes and stuff like that has to get paid.
You still
So
have to
all of those
cover the
things have to
business.
factor in. So hopefully one day it's a service that can be given. We're going
As we
to
grow.
see that as we grow.
As we grow.
That's my vision for the business. Yeah.
Veronica Jansen Webster invested in herself by realizing she wanted to see a change on St. Martin, and the best way to achieve that was to run for Parliament. In 2024, Veronica did just that. Veronica is no stranger to being in the public eye, as she was the first female to take part in baseball on St. Martin and was a part of our electricity company, GEVE, as the CEO for 4 years. She is no stranger, and she continues to do what she feels is best for St. Martin. Into sports, I think that's one of the videos that you had out.
Yeah.
That you're a softball player. What got you into?
That's another avid passion. I mean, I mentioned that I have a brother. So my mother only had 2 children, and so my brother, who was older than me, he needed someone to play with. So he was in baseball, and when he's home, he didn't have anyone to catch the ball. So he gave me a glove and he made me catch with him. So after catching with him for those years, when I was 9, I wanted to play softball, to play baseball. It was baseball only. I wanted to play Little League as well, but it was not allowed because it was only boys.
Okay.
And I convinced them. I remember I stood there and I told them that I wanted to play baseball, and they had made a mistake and said, so the organizers of Little League had made a mistake and said, bring all your boys and girls. So I told them, you said bring all your boys and girls. You said girls, because the year before I couldn't. They told me no. So this year when I came out, they said bring all your boys and girls. I said, you said bring all your girls. So I'm a girl and I'm going to play. They said, but there are no other girls playing. I said, that's okay. I'll be the first. And then because I didn't go away, they signed me up, and I became the first female baseball player in St. Martin. In 2014, I became a member of the supervisory board of GB. And what led to even that was that I worked in the minister's cabinet who was responsible for GB. And one of the executives in there saw me and said, you know, he saw my work and he said, you know, I really think that you should go on the board. And I was like, you sure? You know, like, why? You know? And he said, no, he said, if it's one person who learned a lot about the company on the job, it's you. I had traveled to represent the minister, for instance, to an energy conference in Trinidad.
Okay.
And then the information that I brought back, they were so surprised with the depth of it. And then I had also worked on the division of shares from Sabre and Stacia when we split Sabre and Stacia from the St. Martin shares, and St. Martin became 100% owner of GB. I had worked on that project. So there were a lot of work that I had done.
Yo! Be the first.
Next, we have Sharika Ramsey Hunt. Switching industries takes courage. Continuing school a bit later than the norm also takes courage. And doing all of this when you have a family depending on you takes even more courage. Sharika invested in herself when she decided that she had something to say and realized that there are people who she could help with her words.
Well, writing a book was never something I thought I would be doing, first and foremost. Especially not poems, not affirmations, nothing of that sort. I was never into those things either. So, you know, it's something new for me. So I watch a lot of Instagram, and I think I was watching something with Tyler Brown, and she was just talking about herself and how she's at, and she was talking about, you know, sometimes we have thoughts that come to our mind and we brush it off, or ideas and we brush it off. And she was like, no, if a thought comes to your mind, you know, maybe it's something that you never thought you would be doing. Try. It you know, doesn't take anything from you to try. If you're successful, yes. If you're not, but you know, it didn't work out. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I think a day in the car I was driving, and I think I had just come off the phone with a friend of mine, and we were talking about something. And then I was just reflecting on the conversation. And then I was like, you know, if I had to tell another friend or give advice or encourage, like, this is what I would say. And I was like, you know, let me start writing it down. I started writing down just thoughts, and then I would list dates after. And then over time, I just started putting things together. And then I was like, yeah, okay, we're doing this. Initially, the thought wasn't to write a book. Initially, it would be just post to Instagram and go from there. And then I was like, no, let's put it in a book and see how it goes.
Into University of West Indies, and then you had different other persons studying social work with you with the different group projects. Were there, issues that you found that corresponded within the different islands, or was it like similar but different, or like just a lot of similarities when talking with other students?
A lot of similarities. Yes, in some islands they have more services to be provided. And then in our island, I would say it's more procedural wise, it's more, or there's more specialists. So
Okay.
I would say here we have a lot more specialists.
Oh, we do.
Comparing to some of the other islands. And we have more entities, it seems like. It depends. It depends
What
on
do you
the
mean more
area.
entities?
So let's say our waiting time for psychologists or social work services might be a little shorter than the other islands.
Okay.
So in that sense.
So while we're here thinking that it takes so long, or it takes us, like, you can't find a specialist or a psychologist or whatever.
There's other islands where it takes longer.
Okay. So we are still privileged.
A bit.
We're not too bad.
Yeah, we're not too bad.
It could be
a
worse.
lot of the other islands have a lot of information readily available to you.
Okay.
I think that's something that we lack here on the island. Easy access to information.
So you have the services, but then it's to know how to get to the services.
Yes.
And that's, yeah, I think that's a relatable thing. Because a lot of us, when you find out, you're like, oh, there's all of this here. But I didn't know that there was all of this here for me to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And lastly, we have Crystal Richardson of Kokomoose Concepts. Crystal has come from one of our sister islands, the island of Saba, and has decided to make St. Martin her home. She invested in herself when she decided to assist persons as unique as herself display their moods on the outside or rep where they're from with anything that they wear. Where did the idea come from to even start this?
Well, it all started with being able to be yourself, celebrate yourself naturally. I feel like people aren't being represented enough, and I wanted to create a platform where people could be celebrated. So, for instance, we have different moods, different characters. Some people like different colors, and I sat and I put together what would this person live like, look like, feel like, smell like. Put it all in a brainstorm, on a mood board, and created a person. We actually have different sections. We have the Global Roots and we have Moodville.
Yes.
I don't want to mix it up, so I have to explain it separately.
That's fine.
As for Global Roots, we celebrate the different islands and lands. So the land is actually the shape of the head. And then the colors that you see on the doll are the colors of the flag. So you would be able to represent where you're from in different ways. Some people prefer to wear it as a shirt. Some people carry it as a bag. Some people carry it as a token, for instance, a keychain or something like that. So I just wanted to make it like a mobile souvenir shop. And then as for Moodville, like I was explaining with the different moods, everyone should be able to celebrate themselves in a different way. When, as I grew, I realized, okay, some people prefer pattern.
Yeah.
So when we tie the pattern to the doll, you then have some people will walk with the pattern to represent the doll, and some people just wear the doll.
Yeah.
So, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a whole mastery in your mind that you then put to paper and then executed, so that everybody can have their own individual style in
together
what they were feeling or where they wanted to rep. Because I like that, in that it's rep where you're from. That's why I always like to say. So I like that they have the unity earrings, not just the red, white, and blue, but the unity earrings, because I like the unity flags and I like the colors of it. It's more vibrant. And then, the patterns versus the doll. I think depending on what it is, I gravitate to different ones at different times. So I completely understand you have the individual pieces, whatever you're feeling like in that time, and you can just...
I also have the Essential line, which just has the logo on it. Some people want to represent the brand.
Yeah.
But there's no doll and there's no pattern, just black and white.
And that, my people, has been my Women's International Month recap of these wonderful women that we've had on Sit, Sip, and Chat. I hope you enjoyed sipping with me. I hope you were comfortable where you were sitting. And I hope that you paid attention to these women and the chat that we have. Until the next one, we'll see you next time.